So you have learned some. So in this lesson, I will just mainly do some review with you all. Okay， 我同你溫翻書嘅啫，你中一學過晒嘅。So you learn it in Form 1, you have studied Form 1, then you can explain it to me. Okay, so the first one, you have learned different types of data. The first one, we call it numerical, and the second one, we call it non-numerical. What are the difference? Jarvis? Numerical data, non-numerical data.
One is preset, one is number, one is not number.
One is number, one is not number. Can you give me some example? For example, in ice cream, what is the numerical data for ice cream?
Number of ice cream and color of ice cream is not numerical.
Okay, number of ice cream, yeah. Number of ice cream eaten in a day, maybe. Okay, then it is numerical data. What about non-numerical data?
The color of ice cream.
Yes, the color of ice cream. Very good. Thank you. Okay, so if your data collect are numbers, we call it numerical data, 數據資料. Okay, and non-numerical, 非數據資料. Okay, and then the second one, we call it discrete and continuous. Discrete Chinese 離散. This is more important. 離散數據. And for continuous data, 連續數據. Guess, what are the differences? Okay, yeah, if you have any opinions, you can also type it in the chat room. I'll read it. Okay, so Jeffro, have you learned about discrete data before?
Yes.
What is discrete data? Can you explain a little bit? Or give me one example of discrete data. Or continuous data, any example? Anyone?
Discrete data have DC.
DC has DC. What is the meaning of DC? DC?
少數.
Oh, decimal place have decimal place. Discrete data have decimal place, right? All right. Almost likely, just mess up a little bit. For discrete data, you can take a certain value. That means you can count. You can count it one by one. For example, number of students fail in math quiz. For example, okay, in 2A, you got 5 students. In 2B, we got 30 students. In 2C, we got 2. In 2D, we got 1 and 2E and no 2E. Okay, for example, like this. You can count the students one by one. Then we call this kind of data 5. Okay, you fail, number of data, we call it discrete data. Okay, another example, just like what Jarvis gave me, the color of ice cream or the number of ice cream you eat. Number of ice cream. So you can eat, for example, Mr. Lee loves ice cream a lot. I eat 10 ice cream per day. Okay, then for example, Jarvis, okay, is more like ice cream more. So he eats 15 cups a day. So for example, like this. Okay, for example, Jonathan like a lot. Okay, he eats 20 cups a day. So this kind of data, you can count it. And what Jeffro said, there is no decimal place. because you can count it. You don't have 0.75 cups of ice cream, right? Okay, so today I want to eat some ice cream. Let me have some 0.38 cups of ice cream. You won't have it. So that's why for discrete data, you can count it one by one. For example, the number of students, number of ice cream, number of boys you love, okay, something like that. Yes?
我唔明點解唔可以有 decimal place 咯，即係例如我食半杯 ice cream，咁咪0.5級咯。
What is the meaning of 半杯？
即係一杯嘅一半咯。
一杯嘅一半，咁即係冇半杯嘅喎，你都係食緊嗰一杯咯。我只不過食唔晒嗰一杯啫嘛。
OK。
係啊，我唔會話，that's the good point。你話喂唔係喎，我食一杯500 ml，我如果係100 ml 嘅雪糕，我食一半咪50 ml 咯。Good point, good point. For example, I eat there are for example 75 grams of ice cream. I eat half of it, then it is 37.5 grams. So I can have decimal place. Yes, that's why we need to have continuous data. Continuous data is something related to measuring. Okay, you can't count it, but you measure it and the data lies in a range. For example, just like what Daniel said, yes, I can hit half cup. So when we talk about the weight, yes, it's a continuous data because between 100 grams, you can have 100.5 grams, you can have 210.7 grams. So it is not discrete. You can't count it one by one. It is inside a range. For example, 100 grams to 150 grams is a range. 150 grams to 200 grams is another range. So weight is a kind of continuous data. Is it clear? Okay. So at the same time, Daniel, could you give me another example of continuous data? Apart from weight.
The height of the people in 2B.
Yeah, the height of people. Very good. In 2B. So you can't count it one by one, right? You can't, oh, your height is, okay, let me count it first. You can't. So you have the range. For example, the shortest guy in 2B maybe is Mr. Lee. Okay, so Mr. Lee's height is 100 cm. Then to 110 cm, I got 10 students, for example. Then until 200 meters. Okay, cm. I got 5. So this kind of data, I will call it continuous data. Height is a kind of continuous data. Weight is a kind of continuous data. Very good. Okay, so this is the thing you learn in Form 1. You need to know how to classify it into discrete, at the same time classify it as continuous data. Okay, now we talk about the grouping of data. You learn this table a lot. What is the name for this table? Elvis, what is the name for this table?
嗰個鋼葉圖咯。
鋼葉圖，哇，爭啲。Okay, let me tell you. Tell me what is the meaning of frequency, Elvis?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, never mind. Anyone who can tell me the meaning of frequency? Frequency, number of pairs 0. So let me give you an example, then someone explain to me. Number of 0 appear for 3 times, so the frequency is 3. Number 1 appears for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1 appears for 6 times, so the frequency is 6. Oh, it should be 4 times. Oh yeah, it should be 4 times. So the frequency of 2 is how many? Frequency of 2 should be Help me to count. 1, it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, I can hear you. Yeah, it's 4. So at this moment, you know what is the meaning of frequency, right? Okay, at last 3 appears for 1 time. That means, okay, in Chinese, we call it 频數. 頻數. Okay, in your wordings, 次數, okay, 出現咗幾多次? And what is Tolly? Tolly means Chinese 算籌. Chao. You know how to write it. Don't look at my word. You know how to write the chao. Okay? Chao, something like this. Okay? So what is the meaning of 算籌? That means in Chinese, 畫正字, but in foreign country, they will use this. Do. And for 6, do, and do. This is Tolly. Okay, so number of 0 appear for 4 times. So 0 appear for 4 times. The frequency of 0 is 4. Okay, Tolly, I've write down the name 算籌, frequency 次數. Name of this table. So the table that shows you frequency, the name is called, the table that shows you the frequency is called what? Yeah, frequency table. Very good. Such a genius. Okay, frequency table. Oh yes, distribution table. Some of you say, okay, it's called frequency distribution table. Very good. Okay. Yeah, some of the book will write frequency table, or some will say frequency distribution table. 頻數分佈表. Okay, so this is for discrete or continuous data. Discrete, type D, continuous, type C. B or C. Discrete, continuous. This table is for discrete or continuous. D, C, D. Number of paths. Yeah. I need your response. Yeah, hey, yeah. 平時上堂都問你㗎啦，不過而家冇得問。Oh, continuous, right? Continuous. Okay. No, discrete. Sorry. Okay, it should be discrete because you can count the number of paths. Okay, so this is for this table is the frequency table for a discrete data. But now let's take a look at this table. If I ask you, okay, so this is the height for 1A student. If I ask you to draw a frequency table, let's think what happened. If you treat it as discrete data, let's see what happened. It will look like this. Okay, the frequency, the data, 137 appears for 1 time. 149 appears for 1 time. 155 appears for 1 time. 147 appears for 1 time. 163 appears for 1 time. 138 appears for 1 time. 147. Oh, it's 147 again. Appears for 2 times now. 132 appears for 1 time. Now you can see my list is very long, right? If I treat it as discrete data, then your table is very long and you can't, meaningless, right? 我俾呢個表你，你有啲咩資料攞到啊？ Useless. That's why for this kind of data, we won't draw a discrete distribution table. Then what can we do? We can group them into range. We can make groups there. Okay? We group the data. Group the continuous data. Then, could you help me to finish this table? Okay, could you help me to finish this table? Yeah, for sure. Okay? So for 121 to 130, let's draw it. 121 to 130, how many? Is it 0? Yeah, it should be 0. 131 to 140, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it should be 5. 141 to 150, 141 to 150, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 151 to 160, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the rest, you know. 161 to 170, 1, 2, 3. 3. So if you group them, you can see the majority of students, okay, the most number of students, they are in between 131 to 150. Okay? Not all of you are 170. Okay? 如果你 group 咗佢，咁你就睇到啲趨勢係集中喺前半段啦。After grouping this table, we still call it frequency distribution table. We still call it frequency distribution table. But this time, it is not for discrete data. It's for continuous data. Is it clear? No 問題。冇問題。Okay? So Marcus, if your height is 153, can he belongs to the class 141 to 150? Marcus, 你點睇啊？
No.
No, why?
Because I am in 151 to 160 column.
Yes, you are 151 to 160, okay? So, Sander, if your height is 139, can you belong to this class?
No, I should belong to the 131 to 140.
Yes, thank you. So, Sui. Oh, Sui is a girl, so she, add a she there. Okay, Sui, which class should you belong to? 130.2.
121 to 130.
121 to 130, but your height is 130.2. It's larger than 130. How can you know?
Rounding off the number of decimal place.
Yes, very good. You round off the number because you round it off, then it goes to 121 to 130. So, Judy, what about you? 160.9, such a tall lady.
161 to 170.
161 to 170. You are not 161 or you 160.9. You.
Because rounding off the number.
Yes, you round off the number. Okay, can you feel it? It looks very similar to the things you have before. 131 to 140. Actually, the upper limit is not 140. There's something called 140.5. 131 is not the least value. It's 130.5. 咦，咁熟口面嘅？有31唔啱，要130.5。140唔啱，要140.5。邊度學過啊？係 Derek。
Maximum absolute error.
Yes, very good. You learned this in maximum absolute error. You learned it in the chapter of errors, right? Okay. Yeah, it's very similar to the maximum absolute error chapter. However, the name for the vocab is different. You learn in Form 1. For this part, we call it class interval. So in the class of 2b, we have the smallest value, we have the largest value. The smallest value, we call it the lower, what? Anyone can tell me? Jess? Lower boundary. Okay, sorry to tell you that this is called the lower limit. Limit 唔係喎，Mr. Lee 你之前講過10 gram to the nearest 1 gram 嘅時候，呢一個先至叫做 upper limit 啫嘛。呢一個我哋就叫做 lower limit 啫嘛。Yes, Derek。
原因係因為如果我哋用 class interval 嘅話，咁131的確係 lower limit，但係130.5咧，佢個名就會變成 lower boundary。
冇錯啦 ，very good。Yes, in the chapter of error 嗰一課 we have lower limit and upper limit. However, when we talk about the data, the lower limit is the least value in the class. The upper limit is the largest value in the class. What about 130.5? We call it the lower boundary. And 140.5, we call it the upper boundary. Okay, boundary 邊界邊境。Okay, so remember. What about this class? What about this class? 121 to 130. What is the upper boundary for this class? The upper boundary. What is the value? What is the upper boundary? Yes, 130.5 cm. What about this class? What is the lower class boundary? Lower class boundary. The lower class boundary. Yes, it's still 130.5. So when you talk about 130.5 is the lower class boundary? No, for this class, it is the upper class boundary. Okay, so when you talk about 130.5 is the lower class boundary, you need to indicate which class are you in of 130 of class 131 to 140 cm. OK， 130.5對於前面嗰班嚟講，佢係 upper class boundary； 對於中間呢一班嚟講，佢係 lower class boundary。咁你講 lower class boundary 嘅時候，咁你話俾我知，咁屬於邊一班嘅 lower class boundary？ Okay, so you need to indicate which class are you in. So at the same time, 140.5 is the upper class boundary of the class 131 cm to 140 cm. Okay, and then the last one, the last number, the last vocab you have, which is called the class width. Okay, class width 個班有幾闊？最大嘅係140.5，最細嘅130.5。So 140.5 minus 130.5, 10 cm is the class width. Oh, the bell rings. At last, let me talk about this too. The range, you know that before, should be 130.5 cm to 140.5 cm. Okay, and then For the class 131 to 140, we need to choose one number to represent this class. We will choose the middle point. We call it the class mark. 組終點 OK， 組終點 just like the president of your class committee， 你班會最大嗰個就係個代表啦。Here also the same. To represent this class, we need to choose one number, which is the middle number. Okay, the middle number, 131 plus 140 over 2, so which is equal to 135.5 cm. Okay, so a total of 7 vocabularies here, 8 vocabularies here. Memorize it tonight. Okay, and then I will give you a test tomorrow. Okay, so tonight your homework is very easy. Please finish page 5 to page 6 of your notes. So tonight your homework, page 5 to 6 of your notes. Submit it online. You know the code 2359 tonight. Okay. 耀林，你知唔知咩叫 2359 啊 ？You know? Okay. Yes, you know. Then okay, we can connect together. Okay, so all of you know 2359. So see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye.